Welcome to the Toke&Trans. What do I say? Welcome to the Toke&Trans podcast, where we talk life, love, and getting high. Grab a J and join us. We do not condone the consumption of illicit activities with anyone under the age of 21.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for checking into today's video. It is a wonderful day today because we are going to be talking about hormones and hormone replacement therapy. Choosing to start it, our hopes and fears, all that stuff. Do you remember when you did that, Beau?
Oh boy, do I.
Oh boy. That was probably the biggest roller coaster of a transition journey, is that decision right there, is choosing to start.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was.
Right for you.
Well, I'll go first.
All right, dude, tell me about it.
You know, I started testosterone when it was 2018. October 22nd, 2018 is when I started testosterone. And at the time, I was living with my phobic grandparents. So, and how old was I in 2018? How old am I now? I'm 31. Do the math, Aaron.
21. I'm going to say 21. No, 30.
21. That was...
Wait, no, I was 21 in 2018. Sorry. I don't know what
How
you
old
were.
was I? Wait, okay. 2018, 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23. Was that 5 years ago?
5 years ago. Yeah, that sounds right.
Oh, yeah. This October, because last year was 4 years. This October is going to be 5 years. Okay, so I'm 31.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 years ago would be 24.
Correct. 34.
Okay.
24.
24.
Yeah.
I'm 31 years old, Aaron. Jesus
We're doing
Christ.
math here. Here we go. Here we go, everyone.
Okay, I never said I was smart. I only said I was pretty. So I was 24.
Stoned, so I mean, what do you want from me?
Oh yeah, that too.
So that's when you thought about it, and you first thought about it.
Well,
no, that's when you started.
That's when I started. So I was 24. I came out publicly as gender nonconforming. It was gender fluid when I came out, and I named myself Lennon when I was 22. But I had been out and like discovering myself in that way online. Shout out to Tumblr.
Yes.
For like since I was 20. So this was a 4-year long process before I came to the decision of finally starting hormones. And I had been going by strictly he, him pronouns for 2 years before starting HRT. So it took a while and a lot of research, obviously.
Yeah.
I actively for a long time did not want to start HRT because I identified as more of a non-binary identity for a period of time. Mm-hmm. I would have called myself trans mask the whole time, but I was a he, him, but with they, them energy. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Like I was a non-binary he, him. Yeah. And
many trans people never, go on hormones, and they're super happy and live perfect, great, wonderful lives. So that's just important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There can totally be he, hims that never want to start hormones and are totally valid as he, hims and as men. And that's not what I'm here to say at all.
Yeah, for sure.
We love and support all of our siblings.
All of them. Every one of them.
Every single one. I love you so much. So I didn't want to start hormones because I didn't want any of the hair. At the time, I was like, beard, ew.
Yes,
no.
Me too.
I was like, chest hair, ew. No. I will only start hormones if I can be guaranteed twinkness.
No hair.
Is there like a twink only tea I can take? Because that's what I want. And also, it's not like I'm a professional singer or anything, or I ever was. It's not even like I was a great singer. I wasn't even that good, and I was also pretty tone deaf.
Mhm,
But I was learning to play the ukulele, and I would sing and write my own songs, and I still do, but
mhm.
it's more of a private thing for me
Yeah.
than it is. I never really performed for anybody else, but that was another one of the things that I considered. Like, even though I hated my voice and I hated how shrill I perceived my voice to be, I didn't want it changing because it was familiar
Yeah.
and I knew how to sing with it.
Right.
And I was afraid that I would never be able to sing
Yeah.
with my voice having deepened. And that's not true. It took a
Yeah.
lot of practice. It took a lot of practice getting used to my new range.
Yeah.
But after learning how to sing in my new range, I can,
Yeah.
I sing just as well as I did before. Not good, but good enough for me.
The same. Yeah. For the same. Yeah. I get that.
Right.
Yeah.
When did you start
I,
thinking about it?
I saw that it was an option when I started following Aiden. And that was when Aiden Dowling, when I
Hayden
was
Dowling.
very first coming out, or like figuring out even that being trans was a thing. Um, but I was like you, I didn't want to do that because I didn't want the side effects of of the hair. I was worried about the hair. I was just worried that I was gonna look ugly. I'm sorry. I mean, I really was. I genuinely was worried that I was just going to look uglier. Like, I already had such a difficult relationship with myself. And I'm like, but what if it got worse? Like, it can
Valid.
always get worse. So I was scared that I was going to look worse. But I was also so like, whenever I would like be perceived or like open the door and someone would say sir, it was so nice for them to see that as, and like kind of helped me kind of see myself and what I enjoyed people calling me and things like that. So but choosing to actually start hormones took me a really long time. I didn't start till 2017, and I discovered myself as trans in like 2014, 13, 14. So it was like 4 years later. I was like, I didn't pass very well for a while.
Yeah, me neither.
So that wasn't something that I was blessed with. um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
which
no,
is also totally valid.
yeah, yeah. It was just, I was just scared. Really, that was my biggest thing, is I wanted my voice to get deeper. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be able to like, I wanted to be able to, I don't know. There's just so many things that go into deciding if it's best for you or not, and if it's right for you or not. But I think therapy was also a big help, like learning the different options and things like that. Kind of helped
Mm-hmm.
me with my fears. I made a whole video on my YouTube about my fears before starting, and it's interesting to go back and look at those things, like how I was same as you. I didn't want a beard. I was like, I'll shave every single day. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
that. And now I'll never shave. You can't pay me enough money to shave my beard.
I've
uh
never seen you without a beard.
yeah, no, you can't pay me to do it. I couldn't. I could. That's just like strict hard boundary right there. Don't.
Yeah,
Not my business.
same.
So that stays. But yeah, no, it was, I wanted to start hormones, but I didn't really know how to go about that. And especially
Mm-hmm.
because I was living in like Northeast Tennessee, which is
Yes.
a small town. Like, there's Nashville's like 4 hours away. So it's like not, it's not like we can get to a big city very easily. So
Mm-hmm.
how did you choose what method, or because obviously you do all the research, you want to see all the things.
Yeah,
So what
absolutely.
did you find in your research as methods and options?
So I found um there's a pill, there's a gel, there's the pellets, and there's a shot. And
Yep.
I was going through all those
And a
options. I was
patch.
like,
There's a
I
patch.
didn't I didn't know about the patch at the time.
I see.
Um I was like, gel, that seems ideal. Like,
Mm.
no pain,
Minimally invasive.
Minimally invasive, just some
Yeah.
gel. I rub it on every day. That's fucking easy.
Let's go.
But then it was like, you have to be cautious. You have to like wash your hands well and be cautious that nobody touches you in the area. And also it like recommended upper arms. And it was like a lot of people were saying they got a lot of hair there, like where they applied the gel. And I was like, I don't want like fuzzy shoulders and upper arms. Like, I don't want, and then, other locations that they said you could put it on. I was like, I don't want to be hairy there.
In one spot.
If I end up being hairy there, like, okay, whatever. But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
People were saying that they were getting a lot of hair where they put the gel. So I was like,
sure.
Maybe not.
And research.
Right. So then I was like, okay, pill is great. I forget to take pills. And you have to do it every day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know about that.
Right.
And like, what if, and I'm also living with my grandparents at the time. So like, what if they see my bottle?
Sure.
And like,
you could be outed.
Right. I could take the label off, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. There's, it was whatever. The shot was what I least wanted to do. And pellet seemed ideal because it was like once every 6 months you get a pellet in your butt. But then I saw somebody do like somebody on TikTok, a doctor, like demonstrate how he does the pellet in somebody's butt cheek. He did it with an apple using the same tools.
Yeah.
And that fucking thing is huge.
The whole punch.
And the whole punch, it's big. It's like a boba straw. It's like a boba straw. They numb your booty cheek and then they stab a boba straw into your butt cheek, keep it there, and then load it up like an old musket, shove the testosterone pellet into the boba straw, and then pack it, tamp it in there. And then you have this pellet in your ass cheek for 6 months. And then, you're good for 6 months, but that just seems like a lot,
But then you would do it again.
6 months.
Right. To replace it.
Yeah. Every 6 months. And then I'm like,
not for you. Not for you. Yeah.
But a shot every 6 months. And I talked to my doctor and I was like, I don't want it to hurt. Because if it hurts, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And like, if it's something I can forget, like, I don't know, like an everyday pill is something I forget. I have to take an everyday medicine for my asthma and I still forget. So like once a week is something good for me. Cause I could set it to like when I get my paycheck or something, Yeah. And
you could choose the day and get it to fit your schedule.
Right. Or like every weekend, I'm like, oh, it's the weekend, time for a shot. Like, even if I'm one day off, I'll still remember because it's the weekend or whatever.
Right.
And it's also something I'm excited about.
Yeah.
So I talked to my doctor about how I like really didn't want it to hurt. And she was like, okay, it doesn't have to. Subcutaneous shots, they only go in the fat of your belly or your thigh or your butt. It's super thin, this big. It doesn't hurt.
About like couples like an inch, right? Or like half inch.
Yeah, I think it's an inch. Or an inch and a half. No, well, the needle is like an inch, but you don't go in straight.
Right.
With the subcut, you go in on a 45-degree angle. Oh, okay. So it's not going that deep at all.
Oh, okay.
And you really don't feel it. You go quick.
It's a really thin. It's a thin needle too.
It's so thin.
Yeah.
It's so thin. And because it's so thin and testosterone is thick, it's like, when is this over? I'm pushing as hard as I can on the plunger. Like,
yes, Kayla has that same problem. And then she's got like the indent on her thumb from the syringe pusher.
Yeah. Right. And your needle's bigger than mine. So imagine what it's like with the subcutaneous. Yeah. And that's how I decided on getting subcutaneous injections, and that's what I've been on ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And I swore to myself, I told myself, you're not going to be the guy that's going to miss his shot all the time. You see all these people posting like, fucking miss my shot, miss
So
my shot.
hard.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not going to be me. I'm going to be punctual. I'm going to do my shot every week on the same day and the same time, just
The
like they
same
recommend.
time. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, I think I took this last shot after being just not taking it for 3 weeks, just because I had top surgery, and I'm like, no.
No, top surgery
You
was.
can-
They also
Healing from
told you
top
not
surgery.
to for a while for your actual surgery anyway. So
Well, you know what I found out? The packet said to stop HRT, but they didn't mean testosterone. They meant estrogen. They said estrogen is the problem, not testosterone. So I didn't have to stop at all,
even though you did, oh my gosh.
even though I did. And I was like, oh, well,
Sure.
because I called and I was like, when can I start testosterone again? And they were like,
What?
oh, you didn't have to stop.
Oh wow, thank you so much. Well, that's
Oh,
good to
shit.
know.
Maybe update the information in your packet, guys, because
Yeah.
there's more than one HRT.
I'm gonna be checking my packet thoroughly. So
Oh my God. Just literally ask them everything, because I don't know. Apparently my packet was outdated. People kept telling me different
gosh.
things.
no.
So
Yeah, no way.
not to shade my my surgeon's office. They're perfect in every way and I love them. And
Yeah.
I had a great experience. I'm just,
Packet
whatever.
wise.
Right, packet-wise. Just like the information was a little bit inconsistent. I'm not upset. Like I probably wouldn't have taken my shot regardless, but it was like 3 weeks without it, and I was like, I don't want to do it this weekend.
All right. Well, I get that.
Yeah.
I started hormones in 2017, which is 5 years
A
ago.
year before
6 years.
I started mine. Yeah.
Yes, a year before you.
Mhm.
Like I said, we live in a small town, so it's hard to find a place like a medical place practice that knows what they're talking about about trans patients specifically and are allies. So and like safe spaces. So for me, I had just found this like local support group with like just a few people in it, and I was asking them, where they went for hormones, because like if I went to the regular, like I'd heard bad experiences with the regular, local hospital or medical people. And I personally had terrible experiences with primary care in there using that facility. So I was asking them for other places, and they had brought up a private practice and that they were the default place for trans people to go in this area. And he's like a really older guy, but he's been doing this a long time, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, absolutely. Like, if he knows what he's doing and he's an ally, he's the only one. Like, of course, you're going to make an appointment. You don't really have much of a choice to choose from. That was like the only one. And he's a private practice that's like just ran by him and his wife, and they don't take insurance. So I had to come up with it out of pocket. And in the beginning, you have to go multiple times to like keep a check on your balances and stuff. So it was like financially tough for me to start in this area without even being able to use any insurance coverage at all, let alone if you didn't have insurance. So it was pretty tricky. Once I made the appointment with that guy, I knew that there were different methods and things, but I was just like, whatever you think, like you're the expert in the area. Like I've done my research enough to ask a lot of questions and ask the questions that I know, but like you're the doctor, right? So when I went in, and he had just said that like, look, here's what we do. I give you this dose, I give you what I usually do is give you, whatever mine, 1 cc a week. And I keep your levels at the highest possible to get you the best results, is what it was pitched to me as, kind of. Now, this practice, I'm pretty sure, is like closing down soon because he's way past retirement age. And I don't think it's like going to stay open. So I'm in the middle of switching my care right now to someone who is a little bit, might have some more knowledge or maybe a different practice compared to that, just
Mm-hmm.
because my levels have stayed super high. So he immediately was like, intramuscular, here's what we're going to do. It's going to be super high. I'm going to get your levels all the way up and to get you, happy with your results and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, sure. And so we did that, and we've been doing that ever since. And I'm checking in with my levels more. Like I want them to be monitored better. You're supposed to do them every 6 months, and I still
Mm-hmm.
didn't really feel like they had that. So they recently opened up a branch of the college, the local college is like more trans focused. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a big deal for our area, and apparently they're so overloaded that they're not accepting new patients.
Oh
So
my God.
that tells me that even in small town Tennessee, there's a shit ton of trans people,
Yeah.
and there's such a demand for these needs in our area that they're overloading this tiny clinic.
Yeah.
And the only other option is this guy that's closing his. So it's been a pretty trickier situation
Yeah.
out here.
I
For
I
sure.
I wanted to um talk about, you said you like navigating trying to find somebody that does it, was you had a hard time. I
Mhm.
also had a hard time with
Yeah.
that. I lived in Delaware at the
Gotcha.
time, and I lived in southern Delaware. So that's what we call lower slower Delaware.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And that's where everybody goes to retire.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where everybody goes to go fishing and
Sure.
crabbing.
Yeah, sure.
You go all the way up north. Delaware is Wilmington. That's like a city.
Hmm.
It's like a huge city. It's like
Sure.
tall skyscrapers. Like
Yeah.
it's a fucking city. And then
Right.
you go down hour and a half, just straight down 13
Straight
hour and
down.
a half. Then it's like
Yep.
ding 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 ding.
We got the real South real quick.
Yeah, so my grandpa called it a spigot. Like um anyway, it's the weirdest state in the world, the way that the north and the south of it is like literally like a north and south. It's crazy. But so I lived in lower slower Delaware at the time, and um my insurance, my little part-time retail, whatever fucking bullshit insurance I had,
Mhm.
obviously did not cover any kind of HRT.
Yeah.
And I always describe it as being lost in the void of my transition, because I could not find, like, what's step one?
Yeah.
What do I do? Everywhere's different, and I'm like, every state is different, and I'd like, what's my first step? Once I finally decided that's what I wanted to start doing, I
Mhm.
was like, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
Who do I even ask?
Yeah.
Where do I
Yeah.
even go? Yeah,
Absolutely.
so I can't remember who told me. I'm pretty sure it was another queer person that I worked with that told me about a place called Camp Rehoboth.
Mhm.
And Rehoboth is also in lower slower Delaware, but Rehoboth is notoriously queer.
Mhm.
And some people call it Rehomo. Colloquially, it is known as Rehomo because
Sure.
that's where all the gay bars are. Like
Hell yeah.
down every street is a rainbow flag. Like
Yeah.
it's
Except.
like historically gay.
Yeah.
And there's a place called Camp Rehoboth, which is a organization that helps queer people. They
Mhm.
do like free STI testing.
Yeah.
They have like gay pride events and
Nice.
like, gay choir and stuff like that. Um, they have a counseling program, and they had a gender therapist, which was qualified to give letters of recommendation for surgery in HRT. So I didn't know where I was going to get HRT, but it seemed like something worth having, a letter. That way, when I find someone, if they need a letter, I have one. So that was my first step that I found. So I went to Camp Rehoboth. I talked to my therapist. His name was Salvatore. Is great. And I talked to him for like an hour. And at the end, he told me that I had a typically trans experience and that I'm a good candidate for hormone replacement therapy. I didn't realize how much that was going to mean to me. I was freaking out before therapy, thinking like, what if I'm not trans enough? What if he tells me I'm not trans and I'm just fucking mentally ill? Like, what then?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like,
Which is a possibility that, you consider.
Right. Like, that's why you have to go to therapy. And I'm like, well, there's a possibility that I'm just insane.
Gosh.
Well, I'm just fucking delusional. So thankfully I'm not delusional. I was diagnosed by a professional gender therapist, not delusional, actually trans.
Underline.
So, right. Good candidate for hormone replacement therapy. So since I wasn't pursuing surgery at the time, because I figured that I would have had to be like everywhere that I looked at the time, whatever, 8 years ago or whenever, said that I would have needed to be on hormones for a certain amount of time before I would be considered a good candidate for surgeries. So, and also I wasn't anywhere near being able to afford it.
Right.
Considering the insurance I had wasn't even covering HRT, I'm certain it did not cover any kind of gender affirming surgeries.
Right.
So, I got my letter. I remember immediately after my appointment sobbing. Well, I sobbed through the whole thing.
Of course. Of course, you have to. You're like,
it was right.
In shock.
It was therapy, and I was talking about when I figured out I was trans. Like, it's emotional.
Of course. It's always gonna be.
Right. Especially when you think that there's a possibility of this professional person whose job it is to figure this out with you. Yeah. If they said you're not trans, I recommend like further therapy for you. Like, that would have ended my whole would have broke my mind.
Yeah.
Right. So I got my letter and I kept it in. I remember I went live on Facebook right after, just sobbing, and was like thanking everybody for being so nice to me, because it was all my friends and family knew that this was happening. I've been posting about it and talking about how worried I was, and everyone was like, "It's fine. He's going to see you for who you are." And oh god, I'm getting choked up. And so I got my letter and I kept it in my glove box for years.
Yeah.
Because Salvatore told me about the Mazzoni Center, which is in Philadelphia, PA, and they are a trans care clinic. And it was a bit of a drive away from where I lived in Delaware, but only about like 2.5 hours.
Right.
Because you stay on the highway the whole time and everybody's going like 90. So right, I'm cruising. It's a straightaway basically. And they operate on a like sliding scale. So my insurance, obviously wasn't accepted. And so I was eligible for the sliding scale because I, was below the poverty level. And I only had to pay like I think $35 was my like flat rate that I had to pay for everything.
Wow.
So yeah, $35 for an appointment, $35. Well, sometimes it was less, but like the most expensive that I would have to pay would be $35.
Right.
And like prescriptions were cheaper. But so anyway, and I didn't have to pay right away. Like, if you're not able to pay, you can make payments, they let you pay it off over time. It's fine.
They work with you like they're supposed to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so they're a trans care clinic, which I was like, oh, hallelujah. Like, perfect, they know. Yeah. Right. and
Actually, no. Yeah.
someplace that advertises themselves as a trans care clinic. And fun
Yeah.
fact, the Mazzoni Center is who hosts the Trans Philly Wellness Conference every year.
Ah,
Yeah. So
interesting.
I
That's really
saw
cool.
them.
Mhm.
They had me speak to well, first of all, to book an appointment for that, it was like 3 months out. Like
Yeah.
I booked an appointment and they're like, okay, we'll see you in 3 months. Fuck. And
Yeah.
then they called me and was like, we got to reschedule, and then pushed it a month again. And I was
Mm,
fucking devastated when they did
that
that. But
sucks. Yeah.
yeah. So I finally got my appointment. I talked to who is now my primary caregiver
Yeah. Yeah.
primary care physician,
Yeah.
my PCP. I still go there. They're my
Mhm.
PCP.
Yeah.
And I talked to her and talked about hormones. We talked about the options. We
Nice.
decided on IM, and then they had me talk to an in-house therapist who gave me a quick interview.
Hmm.
I did not need my letter from Salvatore.
Right.
They had their own therapist who asked me like
Wow.
a set like series of questions,
Hmm.
and depending on my answers to them would offer me informed consent,
Right. I see.
which is, we love informed consent.
Yeah.
So she informed me, I was very informed, which is
Yeah.
the informed part of informed consent,
The very
of
important part.
of all the risks,
Mhm.
what would entail me taking HRT, what
Yeah.
changes would happen,
Yeah.
things that I would need to watch out for, heart things, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I signed the paper, and then they took me to another room, showed me how to inject myself
Mhm.
with a fake piece of skin, and then observed me while I gave myself my first shot.
Wow.
And I did it all there. And I picked up my
Nice.
needles,
Yeah.
which I found is still entirely cheaper. Get your needles on Amazon.
Oh my gosh, people, I'll link them below. Seriously.
Not fucking
You
sponsored, but
Not
Jesus Christ.
sponsored. Not sponsored. These are the like during COVID, it was so hard to find needle sizes that were your actual like draw and injection that you had to like start to kind of waver on what you were getting because they were like, yep, still out of stock. Yep, still out of stock. And I was like, Beau,
Yeah.
I'm so frustrated. Like, fuck this. Like, this is annoying. Like, it's already hard for me to do this. Like, come on. And then Beau told me you can get them on Amazon. You don't have to put in prescription information or anything. It's just literally they'll send it to you, and I get them in one giant like 100 box for the year, ready to go. Cheaper than cheaper than the prescription place, and
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. It's amazing. Yeah,
It is amazing. All you got to do is search your needle size in the search bar.
Yeah.
And then read the reviews. Most of the reviews are trans people and diabetics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So also, if you have diabetes,
so read them.
Get your needles on Amazon. Yeah.
So you've been on T for 4 years.
It'll be 5 years this October. Yeah.
This October, yes. Reflection, like what would you do it the same? What would you do different? Would you do anything different? What would you tell yourself then if you didn't do anything different?
I don't think I'd do anything different.
Yeah.
I think IM was the right choice for me. I think I started it at the right time for me. Ass hair and bottom growth was the first things that happened. And I was like, well, damn, we're really getting into the nitty gritty here.
Wow.
Those were two things that I wasn't really like.
Yeah.
Like, who wants ass hair?
Yeah. Like, no one. It sucks.
No one wants ass hair. And it happened immediately. It was immediate and disturbing.
If you guys have to check out our trans and relatable episode earlier.
Oh my God.
It's all about these things that you guys know exactly what we're talking about. So go check that one out for sure. So I'm happy to hear that you wouldn't change anything. That's good.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm really,
yeah.
Besides, you're 1 year ahead of me, and I just want to point this out. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can see the difference, but if you're not watching, Aaron's beard is very full full coverage. Like you have a man's beard. I have a little boy's beard. I have a patchy, a patchy teenage beard is what I have.
Stop.
Um, I have like
Stop
a
it.
4chan. Like if I didn't shave the neck beard, I'd I'd be a neck beard. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
mustache is very wispy and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You only have a year on me.
Right.
I'm bringing this up because a lot of people, myself included, are very guilty of doing the like, how long have you been on testosterone, Aaron? When did you get your beard? Like, when can I expect
Yeah.
to get my beard?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
When your
It
mom and
doesn't.
dad aren't my mom and dad. We are not
Genetics don't work
related.
that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Genetics don't work that way.
Yeah.
Um, my family isn't very hairy,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
This might
And
be all I get forever.
yeah.
Um,
Even on my mom's side of well, but your beard is coming in. You've been doing a lot of derma rolling and like
I have been derma rolling. I've been taking vitamins and also
vitamins.
doing a growth oil.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that is helping. And slowly but surely my beard is filling in. It has
Yeah.
filled in a lot, but I'm noticing that my beard is a lot slower than what your beard was.
Right.
Like
My
I was on testosterone for, I mean, it must have been 3 years before anything even started happening in the facial hair
right.
department for me.
Right. Well,
And it wasn't until this past year that my mustache even started to darken at all.
right where it started to come in. Like,
Mm-hmm.
well, like I honestly, I don't know if the way that he did my transition was the safest option. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I'm in the middle of like doing some deep diving on my health right now, anyways. So just to triple check some things. So that's kind of why I'm getting my coverage, my like the people that monitor, kind of switching over to to the clinic that I'm in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's one thing to consider is I don't know if that was the safest way for my body to do that. And
Yeah.
then another thing I'm thinking is my like genetics. It does play a big factor. My mom and her whole side of the family, my mom, my mom's mom, my mom's mom,
Mm-hmm.
and her mom all
Mm-hmm.
had the thick mustache coming in
Mm,
on like, so my mom, my nana, my gram, everyone had
yeah.
always like waxed and shaved and had to keep up with their mustache, especially after menopause.
Mm,
So it was kind of it definitely is genetics as well. And like
mm.
you're French, right? You have like French, you have like
Yeah.
some French. Yeah. So
My
like
last name is Dubois, so we're
I mean,
assuming I'm French. I don't know
come
for
on.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I could go back and check and kind of redo things, if I could do anything different, obviously it's like I don't like to be like, the what ifs I should have done. But one thing I do wish that I would have been able to do, but at the time financially I wasn't able to, but I would have loved to preserve my eggs. I think that would have been a dope ass thing to be able to do because like being a dad is a big thing for me, and
Mhm.
that was a big factor in decide when I was deciding to start hormones was like can like I no longer feel like I can trust my eggs to and like if something had happened, like I just feel like medicine wise, like at least for me at the time, I didn't think that there was enough information about it. Didn't feel like I had enough information about it. Didn't And then the information I did have was super expensive, right? And so if you're
Mm.
barely making it anyways, like there's no way you can spend an extra couple $100 a month even to store your eggs on ice, in case you
Right.
want your partner to carry or in case you want to get a surrogate or anything like that.
Mhm.
So that's the one thing that I do wish I would have been able to do, but I wasn't. So, and everything, I truly believe everything happens for a reason, and that won't affect my ability to be a father whatsoever. But it's definitely something I had to consider for sure. But yeah, I don't think I would change anything either. And what I do want to change, I'm changing now. I'm changing my provider and coverage and things, and looking into other methods and stuff that might be better for my body. So that's definitely something to consider as well.
What was your favorite thing that changed on hormones? That you were like so glad.
My voice was a big one for me because I was so fucking stoked about my voice. But there was also the factor of I'll wear all black and my whole office is black, so you can't really see. But when I'm sitting straight, there's like this curve right here on my shoulders.
Your lats.
Yeah. That came in after testosterone. And when I didn't have those before, even though I was very athletic, I was smaller. I was like 130, 140, 150 pounds.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so I didn't have that. So what I would do all the time is shrug my shoulders up in the back, like as I was standing, like naturally, and I would hold myself up like that to be like appear passing more. Right. Like sitting up straight, but like I would do that all the time. So I would constantly.
Oh my God, ow.
Right. But if I didn't have these and doing this made them look like this, and it was, I don't know, it made me feel safer. And like, just for me, like looking in the mirror. So I would constantly hold my shoulders up super, super high. And that was something that I was really also stoked about, that I didn't have to do anymore, physically on my body, but definitely my voice.
Yeah. Same here. It's definitely my voice and my mustache.
Oh yeah. Yes, absolutely. Which we both didn't want in the beginning. Is that true? We both were like, don't ever give me facial hair. Don't do it. I told Kayla, I will shave it every single day. We're not going to like it. We won't like it. And she was like, how do you know you won't like it? And I was like, what are you talking about? No, we're not going to like it. Okay. We're not liking it. She's like, all right, we're not liking it.
Yeah. And now I have this fuzzy belly and this fuzzy chest. And like, I'm getting fuzz like up here. Up here, like towards my shoulder on my chest. And I never wanted any of this, but now I'm like,
I didn't sign up for
yay,
it.
Look at my fuzzy belly. And it just goes to show you, like, gender is a journey. There doesn't have to be like you're cis and then you're trans. It could be that maybe you have that big of a realization one day, but I came out as they, them, Lennon first. I was gender fluid. I still wore makeup and people called me she all the time. I didn't correct them. It didn't really bother me that much.
Right.
And then I was they, he, and then I was he, him. And then I decided I was a he, him that needed testosterone.
Right.
And then facial hair brought me joy. And then my voice change brought me joy. It can be a journey, and I think it should be. And I think that journey should be enjoyed.
Yeah, you should be able to try different things and experiment with different names and different pronouns and different clothes and expression and finding new things to do. Like taking those adventures, it can be euphoric and can help balance the dysphoria that comes with everything in life. But it can also give you really cool moments too, like dope euphoric moments that like make you cry, that you never forget, like putting a packer on for the first time, or putting a binder on for the first time, or just realizing in that moment, like one of those big realization moments. So we just wanted to share that with you guys, share our little hormone replacement journey. And we'll be dropping episodes every Sunday, so where to find us. Sunday, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Leave a comment if you want us to do an ASMR episode.
Yeah.